Levi, Belfield and Ian Huntley. That's who I'm talking about in this episode. Two of the UK's most hated and notorious beasts. Now, before I get into the video, people, could you go down, check that you are subscribed to the channel, hit that like button to get the algorithm boosted. Now, the reason why I'm talking about these two predators in this episode is because I've had some information from the Frankland prison that these two beasts are on the same wing together and they are becoming very pally. Now, I will tell you a few things I've heard about what is going on with these two predators inside of HMP Frankland. Now, Levi Belfield is serving life without parole. Now, he is the first prisoner in this country to receive 2 whole life orders. Now, he is in prison for 3 murders and a couple of attempted murders. Now, the most notably murder that he was done for, the most recent one, was the murder of poor 13-year-old Millie Dowler. Now, Levi Belfield was already in prison serving a whole life order for the previous 2 murders, but whilst he was in prison, he was charged with Millie's murder, and that is when he received his second whole life order. Levi Belfield is an absolute beast of a man, the horrible worst of the worst. But he is quite a big bloke. Some might say quite a big, intimidating looking bloke. He used to work on the doors for a number of years, so he does know how to handle himself, and that is the reason why this beast hasn't been attacked in prison, or not that I can find of. I'm surprised somebody hasn't done it, but as far as I can see, he has never been attacked whilst in prison. But because of the way he goes on inside of there, which I've heard from staff inside the prison who have been in touch through emails or when they've messaged on my YouTube channel in the comment section, if you have a look on some of the videos. Obviously, they don't say who they are, but they have come on anonymously and told me stories about this rat inside of prison. So with him being 6 foot, and like I've mentioned, quite a stocky bloke, quite intimidating to some weak people, not to big other prisoners who would take his life without an instance, but because he's on the VP wings, the bacon wings, and he is a predator. He was a predator on the streets for killing them poor young ladies and young girl and the attempted murders of the others. He, as you can imagine, is a predator, and he likes to prey on the weak and the vulnerable, and he's got plenty of those inside of prison. Plenty of other little bacons, plenty of other little beasties, and plenty of other little rats who he likes to think he's the boyo on the bacon wings. The king of the fucking bacons. Why, give over, you fucking muppet. But according to some of the info that I have received, he is quite pally now with Ian Huntley. But as you can imagine, they're both despised, they're both hated, and they've become friendly inside of Frankland. But sometimes I think they're getting a bit too over-friendly, if you get what I'm saying. Now, the info that I've received is that Huntley has now become Belfield's bitch inside of Frankland. Because in Frankland, HMP Frankland, up in County Durham, A-Wing is full of the worst of the worst. Now, the majority of the prison is full of bacons. They have 4 wings down the bottom, primarily for these beasts. And as you can imagine, the worst of the worst are all housed together for the simple reason that these ones that are all housed together are so high profile that they are vulnerable to attack from the other inmates. So what they do is they put them on a different wing, on the bacon wings. Like I've said, there's 4 wings, but there is people on the other wings that have come from the main location. So they're keeping them all separate because with them being so high profile, if they or when they get attacked in prison, because it's not if, it's always when, because the majority of them have already been attacked. As you can imagine, the governor is not going to want this getting out, that they've been attacked whilst they're supposed to be high profile on protection. So they've put them all together on ear wing so they can keep an eye on them. And they're becoming bum pals, chum pals. But Belfield actually converted to Islam in 2023, and he now goes by the name Yusuf Rahim. And Ian Huntley, the despicable rat, is serving life imprisonment with a minimum of 40 years for the murders of Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. Now, this was a case that shocked the nation. But this rat hasn't went unscathed, and he has been attacked on a couple of occasions. The most notable one was in 2010 of Damien Fawkes when he sliced him down the neck, almost taking his life. So as you can imagine, this piece of shit is in fear of his life, and he probably will be suffering PTSD from this attack, knowing what he's in for as well, watching his back constantly, waiting for the next time he is attacked, because there will be a next time. But like I've said, they're keeping them on ear wing together, the high profile ones, so that they're not attacked. But it will happen, don't you worry, and I will bring you the news. But he's pallied up with Levi Belfield, probably thinking that he's going to get a bit protection from him, because like I mentioned, he's 6 foot and he's a bit bulky, so he will have a little bit more pull with the bacons, because they will be thinking twice about attacking him in case he turns around and comes after them. So the rat Huntley is licking up his arse, literally, following him around and trying to be his friend just so he gets protected. But Belfield has just been this year in August 2024 denied the rights to marry his new partner inside of prison, because he has a female friend that's been coming in, or a female partner that was coming in to visit him who wants to marry him. But they've been denied the rights, because they were given the rights in 2023 to marry inside of HMP Frankland. But as you can imagine, there's been uproar, because that beast should not be allowed to marry inside of prison. So in August this year, it was ruled that he is not allowed a civil marriage inside of prison. So now he's took matters into his own hands and made Huntley his prison wife. Because according to this source that I'm getting a bit info from, there is times when these two are in the pad together with the door shut, coming out quite steamy after a bit exercise together in the pad. But as you can imagine, all these freakos that are living together on the bacon wings, imagine 50 odd, because I'm not sure exactly how many was on ear wing, but just say for instance, I know on the top wings there's about 100, but down on the bottom wings, ear wing is a bit smaller, so just say 50 beasties who are all alike, like Huntley and Belfield, all S-predators, all bacons, all beasties. What do you think they are going to be doing together? They will be annihilating each other in the showers with anything they can get their hands on, and they'll be loving it. Enjoyment. Beasties together, inflicting their own sick fantasies on each other inside of prison. And that's why that prison has now become known in the local press as Monster Mansion. Even though Wakefield is the original Monster Mansion, HMP Frankland is also known as that because of who is inside of there. And Wayne Couzens is also on that wing, along with David Fuller, the morgue monster. And you know exactly what he was doing to those dead victims over the years. That sick, depraved beast. All of these together on the same wing. Imagine the thoughts and the actions that will be going on inside of there. What the prison actually needs is a Sir Bob Maudsley let loose on the wings. Let the screws go on strike. Leave the pad doors open and let Sir Bob Maudsley on the wing to inflict his prison justice on these sick, depraved predators. So Huntley is Levi's bitch, and the screws are probably just letting them get on with it so they can have an easy life for themselves, because these disgusting rats as well do give the screws a hard time inside of prison. Any little thing goes wrong, they're running to the governor, they're putting apps in because they're squeaky little bum shitty horses, and they're scared to face the proper men inside of prison. So they're running around, grassing on each other, and the screws are scared to say anything wrong to them because they're putting complaints in constantly to the governors about the screws. So the screws are just letting them get on with it just for an easy life for themselves. But I just thought I would bring you that update, people, because there is a couple of people asked in the comments, has Levi Belfield been attacked in prison? And obviously I've done a video recently on Ian Huntley about when he was attacked inside a prison and nearly lost his life. But if you go back and have a look at the views on the videos, these are the type of videos the viewers are wanting at the moment. So I'm going with the flow and doing exactly what you want to see. And obviously, if I'm getting info on these beasts, I'm bringing the action straight to you lot at home watching this. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. And as usual, if you are enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.